Hey, Katrina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I am working on a Halloween card for the Scribbles Designs Challenge. Now this challenge, we are featuring some of our favorites, Scribbles Designs elements and digis, as well as some of our favorite techniques. Well, as most of you who watch my videos know, my favorite techniques usually take place in Cricut Design Space. So I thought, what better time to show off some of those techniques that I use here. So let's get started with this card. This card has the little broom parking, which is sort of a sentiment and a fun element combined. Now I took the broom out of there when I imported, so I have my broom separate. So here's the actual sentiment piece. Here's the broom piece that I took out of there. And then I colored it with colored pencils, which you can see at the beginning or the end of the video. Then I have this kitty. Now, when I took the kitty, brought him in, you can see how thin those whiskers are. Let's just make this really big. See how thin those whiskers are? Same with this broom. You know, imagine when our Cricut machine goes to cut that. That's going to be a little difficult. And we're going to end up with some frayed edges possibly. And we may not end up with these whiskers at all. They're so thin. So how do we remedy that? Well, I'm going to show you how we're going to remedy it, as well as using the same technique to pop these off the page a little more. Because if I bring this in, you'll see that if I bring it in like this and I set it up the same way, these elements get lost a little bit. See how they just sort of get lost on the page? But here, they don't seem to be lost on the page. Let me show you how I made that happen. Very simple technique. All I did was offset kitty and offset broom and offset this focal piece. All right, so you select it, come up to offset. You can decide how big you want the offset to be. I'm going to square up the corners there a little bit. And I want this to be pretty small. Apply it. It's already come in black, so that's fine. Now I can cut this as two separate pieces because right now this will cut as two separate pieces. And since it's just going to be black, I'm going to go ahead and make this a basic cut. Change the color back to black. And there it is, ready. I'm going to go ahead and group it over here too. There it is. See how that pops off the page so much better? So much easier to see. Gives it more dimension. Let's do the same thing with our broom. So let's come in, we select, we come up to offset. And I'm going to offset this one even smaller. And if you want to get really small, you can take it to 0, go to the arrow on your keyboard. And if you want to go bigger, you'll press the right arrow. If you want to go smaller, you'll use the left. All right, we're going to apply. And I would like for this to be white. I'm going to select them both now, because I want this to be one piece. I'm going to flatten it, and now that's how it will cut it. All right, so if you want to see what that looks like, you can see better there. All right, let's do the same thing with Kitty, because remember his whiskers were never going to really cut well, and he's not going to show up very well on this paper. So let's give him that same treatment. So we're going to select him, and we left click offset. I'm going to go right back here at 0.028. I'm going to apply. And I'd like that to be white. So I click this black box, change it to white, select the two with my mouse, flatten, and he's ready. So let's bring him in so you can see him now. All right, see how that's going to cut around there? So let's take a look at this all set up. And you can see that this is going to show up so much better now. Much better visually, as well as we don't have to fight with our Cricut machine to get it to cut those teeny tiny little whiskers and teeny tiny little broom pieces. All right, let's head over to the craft table and let's put this card together, because I'm going to add some fibers and some fun things to this, some fall elements. You can find these pieces at Scribbles Designs, and this is called Broom Parking. And Scary Cat, he's free, and you can find him at Scribbles Designs also. And they will be linked in the information box below the video. So if you want to find them, you certainly can. This wonderful paper is from DeCosse's Dynamite Doodles called A Bountiful Harvest. And it is a collection, and it is lovely if you want to go over and take a look at that over at Lisa DeCosse's site. Again, it'll be linked below. Come join us at the Scribbles Challenge. Basically, the only requirement this challenge, use some of your favorites. Favorite papers, favorite techniques, favorite colors, your favorites. It's up to you. All right, let's head to the craft table. Here we are at the craft table. I have all of my little pieces assembled in my ice cream lid. Here's the little broom parking focal point piece, the little broom that I've already colored up with some colored pencils, little scaredy cat or scary cat, and that beautiful designer paper, as well as a piece of white paper. This is just black cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. The white lines, that's where you're supposed to cut it to make your 8 1/2 by 11 piece of paper. I chose to leave them in because I thought it was kind of fun. I'm going to go ahead and distress this piece. And now I want to come in and I want to put a background piece behind that, matching that gold yellow dot. Didn't have any paper that color, so I went and grabbed a Copic that matched and made my own. And now no one's any the wiser. Only you and I know, no one else. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this card. We've got the black card base, and I'm going to go ahead and put in my designer paper over the top of that yellow piece that I colored. And then we're going to start putting together the elements. And we'll start sticking those onto the card. I'm going to use a little Fabri-Tac for that, only because it gives me the opportunity to move things around. When you use the tape, it just sticks and you really can't move anything. But Fabri-Tac, you have a little bit of wiggle room there. Here I have a 1/2 of a piece of some burlap ribbon. I have cut it lengthwise. And then I'm going through, it's wired on both sides, but you can only see the wire on one side since I've cut it in half. I have sort of ruffled it up, and now I'm bringing the wire out the other side and I'm curling it around. And I'm just creating a little element to stick under this broom parking, just to give it a little fall something, a little something different. I'm going to go ahead and continue gluing everything into place, adding the little yellow raffia ribbon on top. All right, that's going to do it for this Halloween card. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for joining me. Everything is linked below. Questions or comments, leave those below also. And I'll see you over at the Scribbles Challenge. Hey, have a wonderful week. I'll catch up with you in the next video. Bye.